You didn't leave? Nadia whispers, her face draining of color as she sees me sitting on our bed in the darkness. Flight was canceled, I say, keeping my voice steady as ice. The storm outside rattles our windows, and I can hear Mrs. Lunce's dog barking next door. Where's your phone and laptop? What? Why would you... In the safe. I lean back against the headboard, watching her fidget with her purse strap. 23 years of marriage, and I've never seen her look this guilty. Now lift your dress. Her voice trembles. Are you losing your mind, Danny? Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, and tell me in the comments what city you're watching from. I am Danny Morrison, 42 years old, former high school boxing champion turned insurance adjuster. These days I spend most of my time in Ricker's auto shop, fixing cars and pretending my life isn't falling apart. My wife Nadia is everything I'm not. Polished, successful, a corporate lawyer who drives a BMW and wears suits that cost more than I make in a month. Just checking something, I say, standing up slowly. See, I found some interesting text on your phone earlier, before I locked it away. The color completely drains from her face now. Danny, I can explain. Can you? Because the messages I read were pretty explicit, especially the ones about what you and Eliot were planning to do while I was supposed to be in Chicago. I walk closer, and she backs toward the door. Tell me, Nadia, when exactly did our family friend Eliot start sending you pictures of his dick? She starts crying then, those fake tears she uses in court. It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. I grab her phone from the safe and scroll through the messages. Here's my favorite. Can't wait to taste you again while Danny's gone. Real classy, Nad. And this one. Your husband's such a loser. You deserve better. Yeah, Eliot's a real poet. Danny, please. You know what's funny? I sit back down, surprisingly calm. I actually believed you when you said you were working late. All those nights, all those weekend conferences. I thought my wife was building her career. Turns out she was just building a relationship with a sleazy realtor who drives a Tesla and thinks he's God's gift to married women. Nadia wipes her eyes, smearing her makeup. It just happened, Danny. We didn't plan it. Bullshit. I show her more texts. These go back 8 months. 8 months of you lying to my face, coming home and kissing me after you'd been with him. 8 months of making me feel like I wasn't good enough, wasn't successful enough, wasn't man enough for you. She tries a different approach, the one that used to work. Danny, baby, we can work through this. Marriage counseling, whatever you want. What I want is for you to tell me the truth. How many times? Where? Was it in our bed? No! Never here, I swear. The Riverside Motel, then? I found the receipts, Nadia. 17 different times. Always when I was out of town, always charged to your credit card. You didn't even try to hide it. The fight goes out of her then. She slumps against the dresser, looking older than her 41 years. How long have you known? 3 days. Since I came home early from the Henderson claim and decided to surprise you with dinner. Instead, I surprised myself by going through your things. I stand up again, pacing now. You want to know what really pisses me off? It's not just the cheating. It's how stupid you think I am. Did you really believe I wouldn't find out? In a town this small? Mrs. Luntz saw you coming home early, Nadia says quietly. She told everyone at the grocery store that your truck was in the driveway Tuesday afternoon. Good old Mrs. Luntz, 67 years old and still the neighborhood watch captain. I laugh, but there's no humor in it. So the whole town knows my wife's cheating on me, and I'm the last to find out. Perfect. It's not like that. It's exactly like that. You know what Dwayne said to me at Murphy's bar yesterday? He said, Danny, you need to keep better track of your woman. I thought he was just being an asshole. Turns out he was trying to help. Nadia starts crying again. Real tears this time. I never meant for this to happen. Eliot was just there when you were always working, always at the shop. Don't you dare blame me for this. My voice gets harder. I work 2 jobs to keep up with your lifestyle. The insurance gig barely covers the mortgage, so I fix cars at night to pay for your BMW, your designer clothes, your fancy dinners with your lawyer friends. And this is how you repay me? I know, I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this, Nadia. Sorry doesn't undo 8 months of lies. Sorry doesn't make me forget that my wife preferred sleeping with a real estate agent in cheap motel rooms to being honest with her husband. She flinches at my language. Good, I want her to hurt. What are you going to do? she asks. I smile then, and it's not a nice smile. I'm going to think about it. In the meantime, you're sleeping in the guest room, and if you try to contact Eliot, if you try to delete anything else from your phone, if you even think about running to your lawyer friends for advice, I will make sure everyone in this town knows exactly what kind of woman you really are. You wouldn't try me. I head for the door, then turn back. Oh, and Nadia? Cancel whatever plans you had for tomorrow night. We're having dinner with your parents, and you're going to sit there and smile and pretend everything's fine while I decide what to do with my cheating wife. I leave her standing there in our bedroom, still in her work clothes, still beautiful, still the woman I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with. But that woman was a lie. This woman, the one crying in our bedroom because she got caught, this is who Nadia really is. I go downstairs and pour myself 3 fingers of bourbon. Outside, the storm is getting worse, and I can see Mrs. Luntz peeking through her curtains. Let her look. By tomorrow, she'll have plenty more to gossip about. My phone buzzes. A text from my daughter Sophie, away at college. Mom says you guys are having problems. Is everything okay? I stare at the message for a long time before typing back. Everything's fine, sweetheart. Focus on your studies. But everything's not fine. Everything's collapsed, and it's about to get a whole lot worse. I finish my bourbon and start planning. The next morning, I call in sick to both jobs and follow my wife. Nadia leaves the house at 7:30 sharp, same as always, looking professional in her gray suit and carrying her leather briefcase. She doesn't look at me when she grabs her coffee, doesn't say goodbye. Good. I don't want her fake pleasantries anymore. I wait 5 minutes, then get in my truck and tail her BMW through downtown. She doesn't go to her law office. Instead, she drives to the Riverside district, parks outside Eliot's condo building, and sits there for 10 minutes talking on her phone. I park across the street behind a delivery truck and watch through binoculars I borrowed from Ray at the boxing gym. Eliot comes down at 8:15, looking like the smug asshole he's always been. 38 years old, 6 feet tall, with the kind of artificially white teeth that scream, "I sell houses to desperate people." He gets in her car. They drive to Mel's Diner on 5th Street, where they sit in a corner booth and have what looks like a serious conversation. Nadia's crying again. Eliot keeps reaching across the table to hold her hand. I take pictures with my phone from the parking lot. At 9:30, they leave separately. Nadia goes to work. Eliot goes back to his condo. I follow Eliot. His building is one of those modern glass towers that went up during the downtown revitalization project. Expensive, pretentious, exactly the kind of place a guy like Eliot would choose to impress married women. I park in the visitor section and wait. At 10:45, Eliot comes down to the parking garage in workout clothes. He drives his Tesla to Gold's Gym, where he spends an hour lifting weights and checking himself out in the mirrors. I watch from the cardio section, pretending to use the elliptical machine. This is the man my wife chose over me. This vain, shallow piece of shit, who probably spends more on hair products than I make in a week. I study him, looking for weaknesses. He's strong, but not as strong as he thinks. He's got that soft look of a man who's never been in a real fight, never had to work with his hands, never struggled for anything in his life. I can work with that. After the gym, Eliot goes to his real estate office in the Merchant District. I drive by slowly and see him through the window, talking to clients, gesturing at property listings, playing the successful businessman. His Tesla is parked right out front, gleaming in the afternoon sun. I stop at Murphy's Hardware and buy a few things. Nothing illegal, nothing that can't be explained. Just some supplies for a little project I have in mind. That evening, Nadia comes home at 6:30 with takeout from Romano's, our old favorite restaurant. She's trying to make peace, trying to get back to normal. I let her think it might work. "How was your day?" she asks, unpacking chicken parmesan and garlic bread. "Productive," I say. "Did some thinking." "About us?" "About a lot of things." I open a beer and sit across from her at our kitchen table, the same table where we used to eat breakfast together, where we planned vacations, where we talked about Sophie's college plans. "Tell me about Eliot." She freezes with a forkful of pasta halfway to her mouth. "What about him?" "How did it start? I want to know." "Danny, please. I'm not angry right now, Nadia. I'm curious. Help me understand how my wife of 23 years decided to start sleeping with our family friend." She sets down her fork. He was there when you weren't. I'm here now. No, you're not. Not really. You're always at the shop, always working on some car, always covered in grease and complaining about money. When was the last time we went out to dinner? When was the last time you bought me flowers, or told me I looked beautiful, or made me feel like a woman instead of just another bill to pay? So this is my fault. I didn't say that, you just did. I take a long drink of beer. You're saying I drove you into another man's arms because I work too much and don't buy you enough flowers. You don't understand. Explain it to me. She looks around our kitchen, at the outdated appliances and the linoleum floor that needs replacing, at the stack of bills on the counter and the grocery list held up by a magnet from our last real vacation 3 years ago. I'm 41 years old, Danny. I make good money. I'm successful at my job. I have things to offer. But when I come home, I feel like I'm living in the past. This house, this life, it's like we're stuck in 1995. All my friends are moving forward, buying new houses, traveling, living. And I'm here with a man who thinks a night out is beer and wings at Murphy's bar. Those friends of yours know about Eliot? She doesn't answer, which is answer enough. Jesus Christ, Nadia. How many people are laughing at me behind my back? Nobody's laughing. Bullshit. I saw Jill Peterson at the grocery store last week. She could barely look me in the eye. Now I know why. Jill Peterson, Nadia's best friend since college. Instagram influencer with 40,000 followers and a lifestyle blog about living your best life. She's been to our house dozens of times, eaten our food, smiled at me, asked about my work, and all the while, she knew my wife was cheating. Jill doesn't know anything, Nadia says, but her voice is weak. Don't lie to me anymore. I can't take any more lies. We sit in silence for a few minutes, picking at our food. Finally, Nadia speaks. What happens now? I don't know yet. I'm still figuring that out. Do you want a divorce? I don't know that either. Do you want me to stop seeing him? I look at her across the table. This woman I married when we were both young and stupid and thought love was enough. She's still beautiful, still the smartest person I know, still capable of making me laugh when she wants to. But she's also capable of lying to my face for 8 months while she slept with another man. What I want, I say slowly, is for this to have never happened. What I want is to go back to 3 days ago, when I still believed my wife loved me. What I want is to not feel like a complete fool every time I look at you. I do love you. No, you don't. You love the idea of me, the security I provide, the fact that I'm safe and reliable, and will always be here. But you don't love me, Nadia. If you loved me, you wouldn't have done this. She starts crying again, and this time I think the tears are real. I made a mistake. You made a choice. Every time you met him, every time you lied to me, every time you came home and kissed me after being with him, you made a choice. Don't minimize it by calling it a mistake. I finish my beer and stand up. I'm going out. Where? Does it matter? You'll probably call Eliot the minute I leave anyway. I won't, I promise. Your promises don't mean much to me right now. I grab my jacket and head for the door. Outside, Mrs. Luntz is watering her flowers in the dark, obviously trying to eavesdrop. I wave at her. Evening, Mrs. Luntz. Beautiful night, isn't it? Oh, hello, Danny. Yes, lovely weather. Is everything all right? I thought I heard raised voices. Just discussing some changes we're making around the house. You know how it is. Oh, yes, of course. Well, if you need anything, I'll let you know. I drive downtown to Murphy's bar, where Dwayne is holding court at his usual table, telling stories to anyone who'll buy him drinks. Dwayne Kowalski, 45 years old, ex-con, and the closest thing I have to a best friend. We went to high school together, before his life went sideways and mine got boring. Danny boy, he calls out when he sees me. Come drink with us degenerates. I join his table and order a whiskey. The other guys are talking about the football game, but Dwayne pulls me aside. You look like shit, brother. What's eating you? Woman troubles. Ah, the eternal curse. What'd Nadia do now? I almost tell him everything, but something stops me. Maybe it's pride. Maybe it's the fact that once I say it out loud, it becomes real in a way I'm not ready for. Just the usual married couple stuff. Bullshit. I know you, Danny. You're planning something. I can see it in your eyes. Dwayne's right. I am planning something. I just don't know what yet. If I was planning something, I say carefully. Hypothetically speaking, what would you suggest? Depends on what she did. Hypothetically, let's say she was cheating. Dwayne's expression gets serious. How long? 8 months. With who? Someone we both know. Double screw. Dwayne finishes his beer and signals for another. Well, hypothetically speaking, you got a few options. You could forgive her, try to work it out, go to counseling and all that shit. Or you could make her pay for it. Make them both pay. What do you mean? Dwayne leans closer. I mean, in a town this size, reputation is everything. People like to talk, especially about other people's business. Sometimes all it takes is the right information getting to the right people at the right time. That's not really my style. Maybe it should be. Nice guys finish last, Danny. Always have, always will. Sometimes you gotta fight dirty to get what you deserve. I think about that on the drive home. Fight dirty. It's not who I am, not who I've ever been. I'm the guy who plays by the rules, works hard, keeps his head down, tries to do right by everyone. And where's it gotten me? A cheating wife, a mortgage I can barely afford, and the whole town laughing behind my back. Maybe it's time to try a different approach. When I get home, Nadia's already in bed. In the guest room, like I told her. I go to my computer and start researching Eliot's business, his social media accounts, his property records, his financial information. Public records are amazing things when you know where to look. By 2 a.m, I have a plan. It's not a nice plan, but then again, I'm not feeling particularly nice these days. I wake up early and drive to Eliot's building. His Tesla is in its assigned spot in the parking garage, gleaming under the fluorescent lights. I park nearby and wait. At 7:45, Eliot comes down, in his workout clothes, gym bag slung over his shoulder. He's talking on his phone, laughing at something, probably making plans with my wife. After he drives away, I get to work. I don't damage his car. That would be vandalism, and I'm not ready to cross that line yet. Instead, I do something much more subtle. I take a dead fish from the cooler in my truck, left over from last weekend's fishing trip with Ray, and wedge it up inside his front grill, where it won't be visible but will start to smell in a day or two. Then, I write a note on expensive stationery I bought specifically for this purpose. Hope he's worth destroying your marriage for. Some of us still believe in loyalty. A concerned friend. I slip the note under his windshield wiper and leave. Next stop, Jill Peterson's house in the Riverside district. Jill lives in a restored Victorian that she's always posting about on Instagram, calling it her dream home and her sanctuary. It's beautiful, I'll give her that, but it's also completely fake, just like everything else about her. I park across the street and watch her morning routine through her picture windows. She's got her phone set up on a tripod, recording herself making breakfast in her designer kitchen, talking to her followers about starting the day with intention and gratitude. Gratitude, right. I wonder if she's grateful for helping destroy my marriage. I don't approach the house, not yet. Instead, I take pictures of her routine, noting the times, the patterns. Information is power, and I'm collecting as much as I can. At 9:30, I drive to Nadia's law firm. Dorsey, Klein, and Associates occupies the top 3 floors of the First National Building, the tallest structure in our downtown. Nadia's been working there for 12 years, climbing the ladder, building her reputation as one of the best family law attorneys in the region. I don't go inside. Instead, I sit in the parking garage and call the main number. Dorsey, Klein and Associates, this is Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. This is Mike from City Insurance. I'm trying to reach Nadia Morrison about the Hendricks case. I'm sorry, but Mrs. Morrison is in meetings all morning. Can I take a message? Actually, I was hoping to catch her at lunch. Do you know if she'll be in the office, or does she usually go out? Oh, she almost always goes out for lunch. Usually to Romano's, or that new place on 5th Street. Great, I'll try to catch her there. Thanks. I hang up and smile. Romano's is where Nadia and I used to go for anniversaries and special occasions. Now it's where she goes for lunch, probably thinking about Eliot, planning their next rendezvous. My phone buzzes. A text from Sophie. Dad, Mom called me crying last night. She says you guys are having serious problems. I'm worried about you both. I stare at the message for a long time. Sophie doesn't know about the affair yet, and part of me wants to keep it that way. She's 19, focused on her studies at State, building her own life. She doesn't need to know that her parents' marriage is a lie. But another part of me, the angry part that's been growing stronger each day, wants her to know exactly what kind of woman her mother really is. I text back, "Your mother and I are working through some issues. Don't worry about us. Focus on school. Can I come home this weekend? I want to help." Not necessary. We're fine. It's a lie, but it's a kind lie. The kind parents tell their children to protect them from ugly truths. Unlike the lies Nadia's been telling me, which were designed to protect herself while she betrayed everything we built together. At 11:30, I drive to Ray's boxing gym on the south side. Ray Castellanos is 65 years old, built like a fire hydrant, and the toughest man I've ever known. He trained me in high school, turned me from an angry kid into a decent boxer, taught me discipline and control. The gym smells like sweat and leather and old dreams. Ray's in the ring with a young heavyweight, teaching him footwork, barking instructions in his gravelly voice. "Danny!" he calls out when he sees me. "You look like shit. Get in here and hit something." I wrap my hands and work the heavy bag for 20 minutes, trying to pound out the rage and frustration. It doesn't work. If anything, the physical activity makes me more aware of how angry I am, how much I want to hurt the people who've hurt me. "Better?" Ray asks when I'm done. "Not really. Want to talk about it?" I tell him everything. The affair, the lies, the humiliation. Ray listens without judgment, occasionally nodding or grunting his understanding. "So what are you going to do?" he asks when I'm finished. "I don't know yet." "You know what your problem is, Danny? You're too nice. Always have been. Even in the ring, you held back. You could have been really good if you'd been willing to hurt people. Maybe I don't want to hurt people. Sometimes people need hurting. Sometimes it's the only thing they understand." Ray goes to his office and comes back with a business card. "Friend of mine, private investigator. If you want to do this right, you need evidence. Real evidence, not just text messages and motel receipts." I take the card. Marcus Webb, licensed private investigator. "How much does something like this cost?" "Depends on what you want. Basic surveillance, couple $100 a day. But Marcus owes me some favors. Tell him I sent you." I pocket the card and head home. Nadia's car is in the driveway, which surprises me. It's only 2:30 and she usually works until at least 6. I find her in the living room, sitting on the couch with a glass of wine, staring at nothing. "You're home early," I say. I couldn't concentrate. I kept thinking about us, about what I've done. And I want to fix this. I want to make it right. How? I'll stop seeing Eliot. I'll change jobs if I have to, move to a different city, whatever it takes. I just want my husband back. I sit down across from her, studying her face. She looks sincere, but then again, she's been lying to me for 8 months. How would I know the difference between sincerity and performance? You'd really do that? Give up your career, your friends, everything you've built here? If that's what it takes, yes. What about Eliot? What about him? Are you in love with him? She hesitates, and that hesitation tells me everything I need to know. I thought I was, she says finally. But I think I was just in love with the excitement, the attention, the way he made me feel. It wasn't real. But your feelings for him were real enough to risk our marriage. I wasn't thinking clearly. You were thinking plenty clearly. You planned meetings, you lied to me, you covered your tracks. That takes clear thinking, Nadia. That takes deliberate choices. She finishes her wine and sets the glass down with shaking hands. What do you want me to say, Danny? That I'm a terrible person? That I destroyed the best thing in my life for a few months of feeling desired and appreciated? Fine. I'm a terrible person. I made terrible choices. But I'm still your wife, and I still love you, and I want to save our marriage, if it's not too late. It might be too late. Please don't say that. Why not? It's the truth. You can't take back 8 months of lying to me. You can't undo the humiliation of having the whole town know my wife was cheating on me. The whole town doesn't know. Yes, they do. Mrs. Luntz knows. Jill knows. Your coworkers know. My friends know. The only person who didn't know was me. And that's because I was stupid enough to trust you. She starts crying again, and this time I don't feel sorry for her. I feel nothing at all. which is somehow worse than feeling angry. I'm going out, I say. Danny, please. I need some air. I need to think. Where are you going? Does it matter? You'll probably call Eliot anyway. I won't, I swear. Your word doesn't mean much to me right now. I drive to the lake, to the spot where Nadia and I used to go when we were dating. It's quiet here. Peaceful. The kind of place where you can think clearly. I sit on the dock and watch the sun set over the water, trying to figure out what I want. Do I want my marriage back? Do I want revenge? Do I want to forgive and forget? Or do I want to make them pay for what they've done to me? My phone rings. It's Dwayne. Danny, you need to get down to Murphy's. Now. Why? Just get down here. Trust me. I find Dwayne at the bar, talking to a group of guys I recognize from around town. They all go quiet when they see me, which means they were talking about me. What's going on? I ask. Tell him what you told me, Dwayne says to a guy named Pete who works at the hardware store. Pete looks uncomfortable. I don't know if I should. Tell him. Pete sighs. My wife was at Romano's for lunch today. She saw your wife there with that real estate guy, Eliot, what's his name? They were all over each other. Kissing, holding hands, the whole thing. Right out in public, like they didn't care who saw. The bottom drops out of my stomach. When was this? Around noon. Lisa said it was pretty obvious they were more than friends. I think about Nadia coming home early, sitting on the couch with her wine, telling me she wanted to fix our marriage. She was with Eliot 3 hours before that conversation. She was kissing him, touching him, probably planning their next meeting. And then she came home and lied to my face again. Danny? Dwayne's voice sounds far away. You okay? Yeah, I say, but I'm not okay. I'm done being okay. What are you going to do? I finish my beer and stand up. I'm going to make some phone calls. The first call is to Marcus Webb, the private investigator. The second call is to a lawyer I know who specializes in divorce cases. The third call is to my brother Paul, who I haven't spoken to in 2 years. Paul? It's Danny. I need a favor. By the time I get home, it's after midnight. Nadia's asleep in the guest room, and I can hear her phone buzzing with text messages. Probably Eliot, wondering why she seemed upset this afternoon, making plans for tomorrow. I go to my computer and start typing. An email to Nadia's boss, Miss Dorsey. Another email to the local newspaper's gossip columnist. A third email to the Better Business Bureau about Eliot's real estate practices. I don't send any of them. Not yet. But I write them all, crafting each word carefully, making sure they'll have maximum impact when the time comes. Then I go to bed and sleep better than I have in days. Tomorrow, the real fun begins. I wake up at 5 a.m. and drive to Eliot's building. His Tesla is still there, which means he spent the night at home instead of with my wife. Small mercies. At 6:15, Marcus Webb arrives in an unmarked sedan. He's exactly what you'd expect from a private investigator. Mid-40s, unremarkable appearance, the kind of face you'd forget 5 minutes after meeting him. Perfect for surveillance work. Ray says you need some help, he says when I get in his car. I need proof, photos, recordings, whatever it takes to document my wife's affair. How long has it been going on? 8 months that I know of. Maybe longer. Marcus nods and pulls out a contract. My rate is $300 a day plus expenses, cash only, and I need half up front. I hand him $1,500, money I withdrew from our savings account yesterday. Nadia will notice eventually, but by then it won't matter. What exactly do you want me to document? Everything. Every meeting, every phone call, every time they're together. I want enough evidence to bury them both. Legally speaking, adultery isn't a crime in this state. I'm not looking for criminal charges. I want ammunition for the divorce proceedings. And I want leverage. Marcus studies my face. Leverage for what? That's my business, he shrugs. Fair enough. I'll start today. Should have something for you by the end of the week. I give him photos of both Nadia and Eliot, along with their addresses, work schedules, and known hangouts. Then I drive to work, trying to act normal while my world falls apart. At Ricker's Auto Shop, I throw myself into fixing a transmission on a 2015 Honda Civic. Physical work helps me think, helps me plan. By lunchtime, I've decided on my next move. I drive to Jill Peterson's house. She's not home. Probably at some yoga class or coffee shop, creating content for her Instagram followers. but her neighbor's outside watering his garden, and he's happy to chat with a friendly stranger. You know Jill well? I ask. Oh, sure, she's a sweetheart. Always helping people, always positive. You a friend of hers? Friend of a friend. I heard she's doing really well with her social media thing. Yeah, she's got quite a following. Makes good money from it too, from what I understand. Sponsorships, endorsements, that kind of thing. Must be nice, making a living from posting pictures. She works hard at it, though. Always taking photos, always on her phone. And she travels a lot for those sponsored trips. Just got back from some resort in Florida last week. Interesting, Jill was in Florida last week. The same week Nadia told me she was working late every night. I make a mental note to check Jill's Instagram posts from that time period. That evening, I come home to find Nadia cooking dinner. She's made my favorite meal, pot roast with potatoes and carrots, the same recipe her mother taught her when we were newlyweds. Smells good, I say, hanging up my jacket. I thought we could have a nice dinner together. Talk about things. What things? Our future. What we're going to do to fix this. I sit at the kitchen table and watch her move around the kitchen. She's trying so hard to be the perfect wife, the woman I fell in love with. But I know it's an act now. I know she's capable of lying to my face while planning to betray me. How was your day? She asks, setting a plate in front of me. Productive. Yours? Quiet. I stayed in the office, caught up on some paperwork. Didn't go out for lunch. Another lie. Marcus texted me at noon with a photo of Nadia and Eliot having lunch at Mel's Diner, the same place they went yesterday morning. In the photo, they're holding hands across the table, looking like lovers instead of people ending an affair. That's good, I say. Probably better to avoid temptation. She flinches at the word temptation, but recovers quickly. I meant what I said yesterday, Danny. I want to work on our marriage. I want to be the wife you deserve. What kind of wife do I deserve? A faithful one. An honest one, someone who puts your needs first. And you think you can be that person? I know I can. Even if it means giving up Eliot completely? Even if it means never seeing him again, never talking to him, never thinking about him? Yes. What if he doesn't want to give you up? She pauses with her fork halfway to her mouth. What do you mean? I mean, what if he's in love with you? What if he fights for you? What if he shows up at your office, or calls you, or tries to convince you to leave me for him? He won't do that. How do you know? Because I'll tell him it's over. I'll make it clear that I'm choosing my marriage. You'll break his heart, if that's what it takes. I study her face, looking for any sign of genuine remorse, any indication that she truly understands what she's done. All I see is calculation. A woman trying to figure out how to minimize the damage to herself. There's something I need to tell you, I say. What? I hired a private investigator. The color drains from her face. You what? Marcus Webb. He's been following you for 3 days now. He has photos of you and Eliot together, recordings of your phone calls, documentation of every lie you've told me since I found out about the affair. Danny, you can't. I can, and I did. And you know what he found? He found that you've been lying to me even since I confronted you. You've seen Eliot every day this week. You had lunch with him today, the same day you told me you stayed in the office to avoid temptation. She starts crying, but this time the tears don't move me at all. You can't stop, can you? I continue. Even knowing that I know, even claiming you want to save our marriage, you can't stop lying to me. It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. You're addicted to the drama, to the excitement, to the feeling of getting away with something. You don't want to save our marriage, Nadia. You want to have your cake and eat it too. That's not true. Then prove it. Call Eliot right now. Tell him it's over. Tell him you never want to see him again. I will. I'll call him after dinner. No. Right now. In front of me. She stares at me for a long moment, and I can see the wheels turning in her head. She's trying to figure out how to get out of this, how to buy herself more time, how to keep playing both sides. I don't have his number memorized, she says finally. It's in your phone. Get it. Danny, please get your phone, Nadia. She flinches at my language but goes to get her phone from her purse. Her hands are shaking as she scrolls through her contacts. Put it on speaker, I say. She dials Eliot's number and puts the phone on the table between us. It rings 3 times before he answers. Hey, beautiful. His voice fills our kitchen. I was just thinking about you. Nadia looks at me, panic in her eyes. Eliot, she says, her voice barely a whisper. What's wrong? You sound upset. We need to talk. Okay, you want to meet somewhere? I could come over. No, she says quickly. I mean, we can't meet. Not anymore. There's a long pause. What are you saying, Nod? I'm saying it's over. The affair, the meetings, all of it. I can't do this anymore. Because of Danny? Did he find out? She looks at me again, and I nod. Yes, she whispers. How much does he know? Everything. Another pause, longer this time. When Eliot speaks again, his voice is different, harder. So what? You're just going to go back to your boring life with your boring husband? Pretend this never happened? I have to. I'm married. You were married when you were sucking my dick in that motel room last week. You were married when you told me you loved me. You were married when you said you were thinking about leaving him for me. I feel like I've been punched in the stomach. She told him she loved him. She was thinking about leaving me. I never said that, Nadia whispers, but we both know she's lying. Bullshit. You said it plenty of times. You said Danny was holding you back, that you deserved better, that you wanted a real man who could give you the life you wanted. Eliot, please. Please what? Please pretend I don't know you better than your own husband does? Please pretend you weren't planning to file for divorce next month? My blood turns to ice. Is that true? I ask. Nadia won't look at me. Danny, is it true, Nadia? Were you planning to divorce me? I considered it, she says quietly, but I changed my mind. When? When did you change your mind? When you found out? When I realized what I was about to lose? Eliot laughs, a bitter sound that cuts through the kitchen like a knife. You changed your mind because you got caught, not because you love him. Don't lie to yourself, Nod. And don't lie to me. This conversation is over, Nadia says, reaching for the phone. Wait, Eliot says. Danny? I know you're listening. You want to know what your wife really thinks about you? I lean toward the phone. I'm listening. She thinks you're pathetic. She thinks you're weak and boring and sexually inadequate. She told me she hasn't been attracted to you in years, that being with you feels like a chore. Eliot, stop, Nadia pleads, but he's not done. She said you're a failure as a husband and a man. She said the only reason she stayed married to you was because divorce would be expensive and complicated. I look at Nadia, and she won't meet my eyes, which means it's all true. Anything else? I ask, my voice calm. Yeah, she's pregnant. The words hit me like a physical blow. What? Didn't she tell you? She's about 6 weeks along. We found out yesterday. I stare at Nadia, who's gone completely white. Is it true? She nods, tears streaming down her face. Is it mine? I don't know, she whispers. I stand up slowly, my legs shaky. 23 years of marriage, and it's come to this. My wife is pregnant, and she doesn't know if the baby is mine or her lover's. Danny, she says, reaching for me. Please. I step back, away from her touch. Don't. We can work through this. No, we can't. I walk to the door, grabbing my jacket. Where are you going? She calls after me. To see a lawyer. Danny, please don't do anything rash. I turn back to look at her one last time. Rash? Nadia, I've been the opposite of rash. I've been patient and understanding and willing to forgive. But this? A pregnancy that might not even be mine? This is where I draw the line. The baby could be yours, and it could be his. Those are not odds I'm willing to live with. I leave her sitting at our kitchen table, crying over the dinner she made to try to save our marriage. But our marriage died the moment she decided to sleep with another man. Everything since then has just been the funeral. I drive straight to Paul's house on the other side of town. My brother lives in a small apartment above a convenience store, the kind of place where the rent is cheap and the neighbors mind their own business. Paul's been clean for 3 years now, working as a night security guard and trying to rebuild his life after a decade of addiction and bad choices. He opens the door before I can knock, like he's been waiting for me. You look like hell, he says. Feel worse. Come in, I'll make coffee. Paul's apartment is small but clean. furnished with second-hand furniture and dominated by a bookshelf full of recovery literature. He's been reading a lot since he got sober, trying to educate himself, trying to become the man he should have been all along. "So," he says, handing me a mug of black coffee, "you ready to tell me what's really going on?" I tell him everything. The affair, the lies, the pregnancy, the fact that my wife was planning to divorce me before I found out about her betrayal. Paul listens without interruption, occasionally nodding or shaking his head. "That's brutal, man." "I'm sorry," he says when I'm done. "I need your help." "What kind of help?" "The kind you're good at. The kind that doesn't involve lawyers or private investigators or playing by the rules." Paul studies my face carefully. "What are you thinking?" "I'm thinking it's time to stop being the nice guy. I'm thinking it's time to make them pay for what they've done to me." "Danny, you're not that kind of person." "Maybe I need to become that kind of person." Paul sits back in his chair, considering. "What exactly do you want to do?" "I want to destroy them, both of them. I want to ruin their lives the way they've ruined mine." "And then what? You think that's going to make you feel better?" "I don't know, but I know that doing nothing, being the victim, turning the other cheek, that's not making me feel better either." Paul gets up and walks to his window, looking out at the street below. "You know what the difference is between you and me, Danny?" "What?" "You've always had something to lose. A wife, a house, a reputation, a future. I lost all that shit years ago, so I had nothing left to protect. It made me dangerous, but it also made me reckless, and reckless people make stupid mistakes." "What's your point?" "My point is, you still have things to lose. Your relationship with Sophie, your job, your standing in the community. You sure you want to risk all that for revenge?" "I think about Sophie, my daughter who's away at college, building her own life. She doesn't know about any of this yet. She still thinks her parents are happily married, still believes in the fairy tale we've been selling her for 19 years. Sophie's going to find out eventually," I say. "Better she finds out that her father fought back than that he rolled over and took it." Paul nods slowly. "Okay, what do you need?" "Information. About Eliot's business, his finances, his personal life. Anything we can use against him." "I can do that. What else?" "I need someone to watch Nadia. The private investigator is good, but he's expensive, and I need more than just photos. I need to know her plans, her strategies, what she's telling her lawyer." "You want me to bug her phone? Can you do that?" "It's not legal." "I don't care about legal anymore." Paul grins, and for a moment he looks like the troublemaker he used to be, before addiction and prison changed him. "Yeah, I can do that. What else?" "I need you to help me move some money around. Hide assets, protect what I can before the divorce proceedings start." "That I can't help you with. That's fraud, and I'm not going back to prison." "Fair enough. I'll handle the financial stuff myself." We spend the next 2 hours planning. Paul knows people, the kind of people who exist on the margins of society, who trade in information and favors, and don't ask too many questions. By the time I leave his apartment, we have a plan. The next morning, I call in sick to work and spend the day executing the first phase. I open new bank accounts at 3 different banks, transferring money in amounts small enough to avoid triggering any automatic reports. I move our investments to new accounts in my name only. I change the beneficiaries on my life insurance policies. It's all legal. Technically. The money is as much mine as it is Nadia's, and I'm not hiding it, just protecting it. But I know she'll see it as an act of war. Good. I'm ready for war. That afternoon, Marcus Webb calls with an update. "I've got what you need," he says. "Photos, recordings, documentation of at least 12 meetings between your wife and Eliot in the past 3 days, plus some interesting information about their future plans." "What kind of plans?" "They're looking at houses together. Expensive ones. Eliot's been showing her properties in the Riverside district, places that would cost twice what your current house is worth. She can't afford those houses on her salary." "No, but he can. Looks like they were planning to move in together after your divorce was finalized." "Were?" "Past tense. Something's changed. I followed them to lunch yesterday, and it wasn't a happy conversation. She was crying, he was angry. They haven't seen each other since. The pregnancy news probably spooked him. Could be, or maybe he's realizing that a married woman is one thing, but a divorced woman with a baby is another. That's a lot of baggage for a guy like Eliot. I think about that. Eliot is 38, never married, no kids. His whole life is built around freedom and flexibility. A pregnant girlfriend would definitely cramp his style. Keep watching them, I tell Marcus. I want to know if they meet again. Will do. Oh, and Danny, you might want to check your wife's social media accounts. She's been posting some interesting things. I hang up and immediately go to Nadia's Facebook page. She's always been active on social media, posting about her work, her travels, her perfect life. But her recent posts are different. They're cryptic, melancholy, the kind of posts people make when they're fishing for sympathy without admitting what's wrong. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who hurt you the most, reads one post from yesterday. It has 47 likes and 23 comments, all from friends offering support and asking what's wrong. Feeling grateful for the friends who stand by you during difficult times, reads another. You know who you are. I scroll through the comments, looking for clues about who knows what. Jill Peterson has commented on every post with heart emojis and supportive messages. So have several other women I recognize from Nadia's social circle. Then I see a comment that makes my blood boil. It's from Eliot. You deserve happiness, Nad. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise. 26 people have liked his comment. 26 people who know my wife well enough to be on her Facebook feed, and they're all supporting her relationship with another man. They're all complicit in the betrayal of my marriage. I screenshot every comment, every like, every show of support for my wife's affair. Then I start researching the people who've been encouraging her betrayal, their jobs, their families, their own relationships. Information is power, and I'm building an arsenal. That evening, Nadia tries to talk to me when I get home. Danny, we need to discuss practical things. The pregnancy, the house, Sophie, there's nothing to discuss. Yes, there is. I'm carrying a child that might be yours, and might not be. We won't know until after the baby is born, but in the meantime, you can figure it out yourself. You made these choices without consulting me. You can live with the consequences the same way. That's not fair to the baby. You should have thought about that before you slept with another man. She flinches at my language, but I don't care anymore. I'm done protecting her feelings. Done being the considerate husband who never raises his voice or says harsh things. I've filed for divorce, I tell her. What? When? This morning. You'll be served with papers tomorrow. Danny, please, we can work through this. No, we can't. You were planning to divorce me anyway. I'm just saving you the trouble. I changed my mind. You changed your mind because you got caught, not because you love me. Eliot was right about that. She starts crying, but the tears don't affect me anymore. I've seen too many of her tears, heard too many of her lies, forgiven too many of her betrayals. What about Sophie? She asks. What are we going to tell her? We're going to tell her the truth, that her mother had an affair and destroyed our marriage. You can't do that to her. I'm not doing anything to her. You did it when you decided to cheat on her father. I go upstairs and start packing my clothes. I'm moving out tonight, going to stay with Paul until I can find my own place. I don't want to spend another night in this house, sleeping down the hall from the woman who betrayed me. Where are you going? Nadia asks from the doorway. Away from you. Danny, please. Please what? Please pretend this never happened? Please forgive you again? Please let you keep lying to me while you figure out if you're carrying my child or your lover's? I know I don't deserve forgiveness. You're right. You don't. I finish packing and head for the door. Nadia follows me, still pleading, still trying to find some way to fix what she's broken. I love you, she says as I load my suitcase into my truck. No, you don't. You love the security I provide. You love having someone to fall back on when your exciting affair gets complicated. But you don't love me, Nadia. If you loved me, none of this would have happened. I drive away without looking back, leaving her standing in our driveway in her bathrobe, crying in front of the neighbors. Let them see. Let them all see what their perfect, successful friend really is. The war has begun. 3 weeks later, I'm living in a furnished apartment across town and working on the final phase of my plan. The divorce papers have been served. Nadia has hired Margaret Chen, the most expensive divorce attorney in the state. Eliot has disappeared. Marcus tracked him to a resort in the Bahamas, where he's apparently taking some time to think about his future. Coward. But his absence works in my favor. It shows everyone exactly what kind of man he really is. The type who runs away when things get complicated, who abandons the woman he claimed to love when she needs him most. Sophie came home from college last weekend. I told her everything, and she took it about as well as expected. She's angry at her mother, disappointed in both of us, and confused about what this means for our family. But she's also 19 years old and resilient, and she'll survive this better than any of us. I can't believe Mom did this, she said over dinner at Romano's, the restaurant where her mother used to meet her lover. I thought you guys were happy. So did I. Are you okay, Dad? I mean, really okay? I will be. And I will be, because tonight I'm finishing what Nadia started when she decided to destroy our marriage. At 8 p.m., I drive to the Riverside Community Center, where the monthly neighborhood association meeting is being held. It's a small gathering, maybe 30 people, but they're the right people. Business owners, community leaders, social media influencers, the kind of people who shape public opinion in a town this size. Nadia is there, of course. She's been attending these meetings for years, building her network, establishing herself as a pillar of the community. She's sitting in the front row with Jill Peterson and several other women from her social circle. She looks terrible. The pregnancy and stress have taken their toll, and she's lost the polished appearance that used to be her trademark. She looks older, tired, like a woman whose perfect life has fallen apart. Good. The meeting is routine business for the first hour. Budget discussions, upcoming events, complaints about parking and noise ordinances. I sit in the back and wait for my moment. It comes during the open forum, when anyone can address the group about community concerns. I stand up and walk to the front of the room. Nadia sees me coming, and her face goes white. Hi, everyone, I say, my voice carrying easily through the small room. For those who don't know me, I'm Danny Morrison. I've lived in this community for 15 years, and I have something important to share with you. Danny, Nadia whispers, but I ignore her. 3 weeks ago, I discovered that my wife has been having an affair with local real estate agent Eliot Brennan. The affair lasted 8 months and included meetings at the Riverside Motel, romantic dinners at local restaurants, and planning for a future together after our divorce. The room erupts in whispers and gasps. Someone pulls out their phone to start recording. I know this is uncomfortable to hear, I continue, but I think this community deserves to know what kind of people they're doing business with. Eliot Brennan has been selling houses to families while simultaneously destroying mine. He's been presenting himself as a trustworthy professional while lying to and manipulating a married woman. This is inappropriate, Margaret Chen says, standing up. She must have come with Nadia. This is a private matter. It stopped being private when it became the subject of town gossip, I reply. When my wife's friends started supporting her affair on social media. When people I've known for years started treating me like a fool behind my back. I pull out a folder full of printed screenshots. These are Facebook posts and comments from the past month showing community members encouraging and supporting my wife's adultery. Business owners who I've patronized for years, people I thought were friends, all celebrating the destruction of my marriage. I start reading names and comments aloud. The room gets quieter with each revelation. People sinking lower in their seats as they realize their private social media activity is being exposed publicly. Jill Peterson, local influencer with 40,000 followers, commented, "You go, girl," on a post about my wife's new relationship. Sarah Williams from the flower shop liked 17 different posts supporting the affair. Mike Rodriguez from Rodriguez Insurance sent my wife private messages offering to help her transition to her new life. Stop, Nadia says, standing up. Please stop. Why should I stop? You didn't stop when you were destroying our marriage. Your friends didn't stop when they were encouraging your betrayal. Why should I stop now? Because you're hurting innocent people. Innocent? I laugh, and it's not a pleasant sound. There's nothing innocent about any of you. You all knew what was happening. You all chose sides. You all decided that my wife's happiness was more important than my marriage, my dignity, my 23 years of commitment and love. I turn back to the crowd. But here's the really interesting part. My wife is now pregnant, and she doesn't know if the baby belongs to me or to Eliot Brennan. And where is Eliot now? When the woman he claimed to love needs him most? He's in the Bahamas, hiding from the consequences of his actions. The whispers turn to audible gasps. This is bigger than anyone expected. So I want everyone in this room to remember this moment, I continue. Remember that when you support adultery, When you encourage people to break their vows, when you celebrate the destruction of families, there are real consequences. There are real people who get hurt. There are real children who have to grow up wondering who their father is. That's enough, Margaret Chen says, moving toward me. You're opening yourself up to defamation lawsuits. Truth is an absolute defense against defamation, I reply. And everything I've said tonight is true. I have documentation for all of it. I look directly at Nadia. You wanted a divorce? You've got one. You wanted to be free to be with Eliot? Well, you're free. And he's gone. You wanted to destroy our marriage? Congratulations. Mission accomplished. Danny, please. But you don't get to do it quietly. You don't get to rewrite history and make yourself the victim. You don't get to have your friends comfort you and support you while they treat me like the bad guy. Everyone in this town is going to know exactly what you did and exactly what kind of person you really are. I gather my papers and head for the door. Oh, and one more thing. The baby you're carrying? If it's mine, I'll support it financially because that's what decent people do. But I'll never forgive you for making me question whether my own child is actually mine. That's a special kind of cruelty that I'll never forget. The room is completely silent as I walk out. I can hear Nadia crying behind me. Can hear the whispers starting up again. Can hear phones buzzing as people start texting and posting about what they just witnessed. I drive home to my apartment and pour myself a drink. My phone starts ringing immediately. Reporters, friends, family members who heard about the meeting secondhand. I don't answer any of them. Instead, I call Sophie. Dad? I heard about what happened tonight. Are you okay? I'm fine, sweetheart. Mom's been calling me, crying. She says you humiliated her in public. I told the truth in public. There's a difference. Dad, I know she hurt you, but nothing, Sophie. Your mother made choices that destroyed our family. She involved other people in those choices, made them complicit in her betrayal. She doesn't get to hide from the consequences now. What happens next? Next, we move on. You finish college, I rebuild my life, and your mother deals with the mess she created. And the baby? We'll figure that out when the time comes. After I hang up, I sit in my empty apartment and think about the last 6 months. 6 months ago, I was a married man with a daughter in college and a life that made sense. Tonight, I'm divorced, alone, and infamous in my own town. But I'm also free. Free from the lies, free from the betrayal, free from the woman who looked me in the eye every day while planning to leave me for another man. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Saw the video of your speech tonight. Good for you, man. Some of us have been waiting for someone to call out these people for years. Then another. Danny, this is Pete from the hardware store. Just wanted you to know that not everyone in this town supported what your wife did. Some of us still believe in marriage and loyalty. And another. Mr. Morrison, this is Jessica from Channel 7 News. We'd like to interview you about tonight's events. Please call me. I turn off my phone and go to bed. Tomorrow, I'll deal with the aftermath. Tonight, I just want to sleep peacefully for the first time in months, knowing that I finally fought back, that I finally made them pay for what they did to me. 3 months later, the divorce is finalized. Nadia gets the house but has to buy out my half of the equity. I get half of everything else, plus alimony for 5 years. The baby turns out to be mine, a daughter we name Emma, who I love despite the circumstances of her conception. Eliot never came back from the Bahamas. He sold his real estate business remotely and moved to Florida permanently. Jill Peterson lost half her Instagram followers after the community meeting video went viral, and several of her sponsors dropped her. Nadia still lives in our old house, but she's a pariah in the community now. The other lawyers at her firm asked her to leave after the scandal affected their reputation. She works for a small practice across town and keeps a much lower profile. I bought a small house near the lake, where I live alone except for the weekends when Emma stays with me. She's a beautiful baby, with Nadia's eyes and my stubborn chin. And she's the only good thing to come out of this whole mess. Sophie graduated college and moved to Chicago. She visits sometimes, but our relationship is still strained. She thinks I went too far with the public humiliation, that I should have handled things privately. Maybe she's right. Maybe I did go too far. But I sleep well at night, knowing that I didn't just roll over and take it. I fought back. I made them pay. I showed everyone in this town that there are still consequences for betrayal, still prices to pay for destroying other people's lives. And in the end, that's enough.